Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to discuss having an eclectic background, some records that you should check out, which would be like maybe an alternate to what most people consider guitar albums. I just wanted to talk about some albums that you may not have heard of or heard that have influenced me over the years, and maybe you want to check them out and have an open mind. What's that, Quado?
Now, open your mind to me. Open your mind. Open your mind.
Anyway, so I'd like to talk to you about a few albums. So just to touch upon the difference, I would recommend any of Devo's first three albums and listen to what Bob Mothersbaugh is playing. And, there's a lot of great stuff there, and it's just unique and different and interesting. And for that matter, also, any of the albums by the Smiths are something that would give you like a unique perspective to a different style of playing guitar. I did a lesson, I think, once on This Charming Man, and I'll probably do the intro again from the top because that's a really cool intro. And also really anything from Cocteau Twins, Robin Guthrie, I think is a great player to check out that you might not have checked out. Steve Wariner is one of my all-time heroes in the country aspect, and there's a lot of great records by him. There's a record in particular for the shred guys. There's an album called Confessions by Dweezil Zappa in the 90s, and it features Nuno Bettencourt and Dweezil. And then there's all these guest players. There's a song with Zakk Wylde and Warren DeMartini. There's a Steve Vai song in there, although he couldn't be credited on the album. And I think Eddie Van Halen's on it as well, but couldn't be credited on the album for record contract stuff. But for the most part, Dweezil Zappa Confessions is an excellent record, and you should check it out. Also, when I was a kid, I was reading Guitar Player magazines, and I remember reading a thing about Elegant Gypsy by Al Di Meola, and I bought that album. And that was a big album for me as well, too. For the picking stuff was just real tough. I don't get to pick a lot, and as you can see from that intro, I was hacking through that. But I do like to get back into that at some point. But I think those are some good albums, the Dweezil and the Al Di Meola, to take a look at as far as for your playing. And then, the guys who think outside the box. There's a guitar player, Mark Ribot, who's really great. Did some great work with Tom Waits. That's just, I highly regard it. And I was also a very big Steve Bartek fan from Oingo Boingo, who I believe would listen to a bunch of out there avant-garde guitar players and would play and do his thing to it. I think also if you're really into some of the guitar wizardry, I would say definitely check out Night Ranger's first album, Dawn Patrol. It's great. It's effing great. There's so many guitar records out there. People sit there and they mention to me a lot of stuff that I've either heard or I haven't heard, and it's always cool. If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I like it, I like it. And same here. When I suggest something, if you don't like it, move on. It doesn't need to be discussed.
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff? How about the tunes?
One man's trash is another man's treasure. I know a lot of people that listen to Devo and say this is the greatest band, and I know a lot of people that listen to it and say it's garbage. I enjoy it, and I really don't discount anything. If you don't like it, it doesn't mean it's bad, unless it's bad, and then it's bad. But yeah, so I think that there are some great records, and if there's in my comments, I'd love you to post one album that you think that no one listens to or that you really like, that you think influenced your playing a lot. Even though I opened this thing with a Night Ranger thing, shred's cool, but it's just one facet. It's one tool in the shed that you should have, and you should have a lot back there that you should always be looking at and You know, there's just like one of my favorite players, Elliot Easton from the Cars. You know, he just brings something to that band that I think is needed in those first three albums, and maybe even the fourth album. After that, I just, you know, the band to me was, even the fourth album, what's that, Shake It Up? There's just like one or two good songs. And I actually think Panorama might have been the best album had the recording been better, but the recording just sounds like it's underwater. I don't know what the hell they did on that album. Candio has a much better sound to it. But I think the songs might be better on Panorama, or at least I enjoy them more. But yeah, I mean, not to say that I'm, you know, like I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. Zeppelin was my go-to band of all time, you know. There's nothing wrong with loving Zeppelin and the Beatles, but I'm just saying there's also some other stuff out there, Frank Zappa, and I remember when I got into Frank Zappa, then shortly afterwards I really started getting into George Clinton. I got into all the Parliament Funkadelic albums. I actually liked Funkadelic better because I thought they were, well, I didn't think that they were definitely much more of a funk rock band than Parliament, which got a little disco-y. And then Funkadelic got a little disco-y towards like when they switched labels and did One Nation Under a Groove, and the album before that, which I can't think. But the last great album by Funkadelic, I think, was Tales of Kid Funkadelic, which I think is a great album. And the album before that, Let's Take It to the Stage, might be my favorite, that or Maggot Brain. But I digress. I'm a big Eddie Hazel fan, and also Michael Hampton. I think both players for Funkadelic were great guitar players. I think you can hear a lot of Michael Hampton when you listen to Prince. Anyway, I have a super busy day of teaching today, and I'm going to take off. But again, if there's an album that you think that people should check out, that you think is a great guitar album and some interesting stuff, please comment. Real quick, Halloween's coming up, and I saw the funniest mask. I love the Baba Booey mask, so I made a little clip for you of the Baba Booey mask that I saw online and that I thought was pretty funny. All right, very good.
You're right on target. Right on the money. Everything you said. You hit the nail right on the head with your comments, what you're saying today. You're 150% correct.